We're going to talk about this clip that's going around on social media right now featuring Maximilian. Now, I know of Maximilian. I don't watch his content, but I know of him. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know of Maximilian. I think everybody knows Maximilian at this point. He's been around forever. But I saw this post that's making the rounds with, ironically, a Tifa profile picture because, of course, right? And it said he is spitting 100% complete facts. It's always been just a vocal minority that chooses to be toxic. And I'll never be gaslit into believing it's this massive 50-50 divide that grifters try to paint it as. So naturally, I'm curious. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me every single day, 9 p.m. over on the main channel, where you can catch me live every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see every single one of you there. Now back to the main video. I'm curious, right? This has to do with Final Fantasy VII Remake or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? I was immediately curious because I'm like, okay, so this is going to be a situation where we have somebody defending Rebirth, right? And it's fine. If you like, I've said this so many times, if you like the remakes, that's fine. But you liking the remakes is not going to suddenly downplay what so many people who are fans of the original Final Fantasy VII have a big problem with, right? And this is what this kind of stuff actually does. They try to downplay what everybody's talking about. They try to muddy the waters. They try to pretend as if, you know, it's just the grifters who are mad about this. The grifters. And by saying grifters, you're essentially implying that those people never played Final Fantasy VII. That's what you're essentially implying. We all know that's true. That's not true, right? We all know that's that fucking bullshit. But anyway, so let's see what he actually said, and then we'll go into it, because I'm not just gonna go based off the comment, you know, quote tweeting him. Let's see.
F the haters. I mean, I get it if games like have people that are disappointed with it, but the reality of the situation is that this is the best reviewing JRPG. This is the best reviewing Square Enix game. It's the only ones that have ever been nominated for Game of the Year in the past 20 plus years. Like, people are allowed to not like it, you know, but to make it seem like they're the majority, you're not. Like, at all. Like, very large majority of people like are really into this shit.
Okay, so there's a lot wrong here. There's a lot wrong here that I think that he is either purposefully not talking about, or maybe he just is not thinking about when he's talking about this. I know what people say about Maximilian being a shill and all that stuff. I don't care about that. I want to focus on the "you're not the majority" conversation, okay? Because here's the thing about the "you're not a majority" conversation, all right? Number one, the majority of gamers don't fucking care about whether or not a video game got a high review from Access Media. Nobody cares, right? They also don't care if they love a video game, they're not going to care whether or not it gets nominated for Game of the Year. Since when is that talking points about whether or not the vast majority of people are for or against something? Just because something is nominated for Game of the Year doesn't mean the vast majority of gamers are for or against it. You want to know why? It's because when a game gets nominated for Game of the Year, it wasn't nominated by gamers. It was nominated 90%, that's the actual number, 90% by the Access Media. The Access Media are the ones that nominated video games for Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year. They're the ones that do that, not the gamers, right? The gamers only get to vote at a 10% ratio. The journalists and the Access Media get a 90% ratio on their vote. So the gamers' votes really don't matter unless they far outweigh the journals' votes, even at 90%, which, again, is most likely not going to happen for the majority of the video games. So with all that being said, to claim that this game got nominated for Game of the Year and that means the vast majority of gamers love it, that's just factually not true. That's completely bullshit. That's number one. Number two, you're comparing about like the reviews, right? Even on Steam, because I know some people said, "Oh, the game has really good reviews on Steam and all that stuff." Okay, that might be true. But here's the thing about this, and I'm gonna bring it up actually. Hold on. Let's go to SteamDB really quick, and let's bring this up just so that we have it as we're talking about this. Okay. Actually, it's really not that great. 74% is not that great. But anyway, we'll talk about it. So high reviews, right? 31,000 reviews. Here's the problem with this. Okay. Pretty decent number. Could have been better though. Should have been better. But anyway. The problem with this and the whole like, oh, most people who played it liked it. Most people who played it liked it. What you're not accounting for when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth by saying that the vast majority of people that played it liked it, the reason why that statement is true, but also disingenuous, is because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sold half of what Final Fantasy Remake sold. The reason why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sold half of what Remake sold is because people caught on to the bait and switch after they played Remake. So when they played Remake, naturally, they're not going to want to buy Rebirth, most likely, at least not day one anyway. They're not going to buy it day one, and they're not going to buy it most likely in general because they already know about the fucking bait and switch. So, yeah, obviously, most of the people, or vast majority of people that played it liked the game, but you're not including the millions of people that didn't buy the game. You're not including that. What about, so those people don't get a voice? The people who bailed on the game don't get a voice? They bailed on it for a reason. There's millions of people that chose not to buy the second game. And for all intents and purposes, I'll be real with you, that all counts as negative reviews in my opinion. Because since those people chose not to buy the second game, that means that they didn't view it as worth it to buy the second game because of their experience with the first game. That sounds like a negative review to me, buddy. That sounds like hashtag more of us, exactly. See, the thing is, once you start including all the people that didn't buy the second game who bought the first game, you realize that the majority of people, or a large amount of people, actually are unhappy with Rebirth. Or they're unhappy with where the remakes are going. But when you don't factor in those people, of course the numbers seem skewed in your favor. And even when you do, even without those people, you're still at a 74% on Steam. So 25% of the people didn't like the game. That's a large amount of people. And those are people that actually bought the game. Anyway, not only that, it's already been admitted. It doesn't really matter how you want to spin this. It doesn't matter about the Game of the Year stuff. It doesn't matter about journos loved it. So that means that only the grifters hate it, brother. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth falls short of sales expectations. It didn't even hit the sales that Square Enix had for it because people checked out. People checked out. Again, there are things that people like about Final Fantasy remakes. There are things that I like about Final Fantasy Remake. I actually like a lot of things in the Final Fantasy VII remakes, but the problem with the remakes for me, as somebody who unfortunately for this situation has experienced the original game, is that what they did with the story and where they're going with it and this multiversal shit that I've complained about for I don't even know how many fucking streams. What they did with the story is abysmal, in my opinion. If they would have did everything else that they've done with this game but left the story alone, my rating of this game would be totally different. And you can call it grifter all you want, but the whole reason why this game upsets me the way that it does is because I have the passion for this series. I actually like this series a lot. This series has my childhood through and through. I love this series. So your claims of grifter don't mean a fucking thing. None of these people, whenever they say grifter, it means literally nothing. It goes in one ear, out the other. I legit don't give a fuck. But it's the reason is the story. It'll always be the story. This multiversal nonsense they're doing with like that they're doing with like Zack and shit and Aerith. Is she alive? Is she not alive? Is she dead? Is she like Super Saiyan in her afterlife? Who really fucking knows anymore? But this like Kingdom Hearts wannabe multiversal shit is so fucking gay. It's so annoying. And as someone who's a fan of the original story, and I view the story as damn near perfect, I completely checked out on it. Not only that, from a gameplay perspective, no offense, or actually all the offense, because I don't really give a fuck, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is literally bloatware, okay? It's literally fucking bloatware. What they did was they took a small segment of the original video game, stretched it out farther than Bonnie Blue's vagina. They stretched that shit out so goddamn far I could hear echoes, and they filled it with mini games that were required in like the first 7 chapters of the game. And then only after the first 7 chapters, do you finally get away from the whole like nonsense about required mini games. But bro, it got to a point where I was like, why the fuck are you requiring a mini game after every goddamn chapter to get to the next one? It's so stupid. It really is. Like, if you want to do the mini games in the Golden Saucer, that's fine. Perfectly fine. That's expected, right? You go, like, if you go to the Golden Saucer, you're going there to play the mini games, just like it was in the original game, just like it is in Final Fantasy 14. Like, you go there for the mini games. But the fact that you're doing it with every chapter in the beginning, bro, that tells me that you were forcibly trying to delay people from getting through the game quickly. You were forcibly slowing down the pacing of the game with nonsense. You really were. So that killed the game for me as well. And it was just a slog fest to get through. And then once you finally get to the end, you know, it is what it is. You get that whole, like, another boss battle with Sephiroth. All these boss battles with Sephiroth that never happened in the first game. He was this enigmatic figure in the first game that you don't even really physically meet until the end, when you realize his body was frozen in the fucking crater up north, and then all of a sudden he becomes Super Saiyan Sephiroth and shit like that once he's infused with the live stream. Anyway, the point is, what they did with this story is nonsense, okay? And I'm not saying from a gameplay perspective the game is bad. I think the game, like, the combat's pretty fun. Even though it's action oriented, it does have like this turn-based style to it, where it has the strategy slowdown effect, where you can like slow everything down and really pick your next move and kind of treat it like a turn-based game. I like that. I thought that was cool. That was a nice little fusion of different combat systems, so that's cool. The graphics are obviously beautiful. The game is beautiful. The world is beautiful. The redesign of everything is beautiful. It's gorgeous. But all that aside, you can have all that pretty paint, but that pretty paint has to be pushed by a strong story. That's the whole point of these Final Fantasy series. And if you don't have a strong story, or in this scenario, you take a strong story, you fuck it up, I mean, it really is a shame. It is a shame. So that's the reason why I personally don't like it. And again, I don't hate people that do like the remakes. I think a lot of people that I've spoken to that like the remakes have only played the remakes. There are people that do like the remakes that played the original as well, and that's fine. That's fine, but I'm tired of these fucking people coming out here and trying to downplay the people who dislike the game and calling them grifters, when those people that dislike the game probably know a hell of a lot more about the fucking game and the series and the story than they do. And they'll just try to like downplay you as a grifter, like, oh, you're just a grifter. That fucking word has no meaning anymore. It just literally means nothing. It means nothing. So that's basically it. I mean, again, like, to claim that because it's reviewed well and because they got nominated for Game of the Year and all that nonsense, I heavily disagree with that. And to claim to be a majority, man, that's some real strong ego. That's some strong ego. You are abandoning the millions upon millions of people that didn't buy the game. Clearly. In case you need a reminder, falls short of sales. And we all know, by the way, that when it comes to corporate speak, when a company says falls short of sales, you know what that means, right? That's not like, oh, we were aiming for 5 million and we got 4.8. No, that's not what it means. It means we were aiming for 5 million and we got felted and we only got like 1.5 or 2 million. That's exactly what it means. This game has sold well below what the first one did. And that's because a bait and switch only works one time. You can only bait and switch people one time. That's it. Why do you think Hideo Kojima didn't bait and switch people with Metal Gear Solid after Metal Gear Solid 2? Why do you think he was upfront about who you were going to be playing as for the remainder of the Metal Gear Solid series after the bait and switch of the second one? It's because the bait and switch only works one time. It only works one time, boys. So that's basically it. I think it's fucked up to ignore the people that didn't buy the game, because that tells the whole story, in my opinion. It tells the whole story of the people. Let me see. I mean, these games tend to do pretty even on Steam. It doesn't show the whole, like, because this game came out so late on Steam. Let me see. Yeah, see, this game came out so fucking late. But look, there are more people playing this game than Rebirth because there are more people buying this game over time. So even though it had a smaller concurrent number because this game took forever to come out on PC, Rebirth, let me go back to Rebirth, has less people actively playing the game, and it's a more bloated game. There's actually more to do in Rebirth than there is Remake, but there's more people playing Remake. And look, there's more sales. There's more sales. Estimated 754 to 1.28. And then you got Final Fantasy Remake Integrate. Even though it has a lower number, more sales, 2 million. 2 million. And that's just on Steam. That's just on Steam alone. That's not including PlayStation. And you know what the great thing about Steam is even though Steam doesn't tell the whole story, because it doesn't, what it does is showcase patterns. It showcase buying habits, and it showcase player patterns. So it showcases that people said, you know what? I don't feel the need to want to buy the second game because the first game showed me everything that this whole remake series is about. I don't need to pursue it, which is why even on Steam, Rebirth sold estimated half or less than half. And that's on Steam, which tells me that it's most likely following something very similar on PlayStation. I would bet money on it. Actually, yeah, I would bet money on it because it's already been confirmed. So, again, that's all it is. Again, I have no hate towards Maximilian. Don't watch his content. Don't care. I'm just tired of people trying to pass it off as like, oh, we're the majority. We all like it. You guys are fucking chuds because you don't like it because you just don't have any real arguments. No. We have arguments. You just don't want to listen to them. You just don't care to listen to them. You want to pass it off as like whatever. You know, the arguments are real. They're there. And they're coming from people that enjoyed the original series. And I get it. I understand. He's like supposedly an Access Media guy, whatever, it's fine. But like don't try to fucking pass it off as like all people just want to do is hate. Nobody wanted to hate it. Bro, nobody wanted to hate the remake series. Let me make this very clear. For the people in the back, okay? For the people that are all the way in the fucking back. Let me make sure you hear this part. When the Final Fantasy VII Remake series was finally announced, when it was being teased at the PlayStation 4 tech demo, I think it was the PS4 tech demo, or maybe it was PS5. I don't remember. I think it was PS4, pretty sure. When it was being teased as a tech demo, and they used the Final Fantasy VII series to tech demo the technology, people immediately started running crazy with the idea that they were going to remake Final Fantasy VII. Everybody wanted a Final Fantasy VII remake. People were losing their fucking minds at the thought of the remake being real. It was PS4, right? Yeah, okay, it was PS4. People were losing their minds. I lost my fucking mind. I was like, holy shit, they're finally doing it. They're actually doing it. People lost their minds. And then we got it, and not only did we get a multiversal, nonsensical, fucked up story, but then we found out that you guys are turning these games into 3 different fucking games. That's another thing that people don't want to talk about. People don't want to talk about the fact that not only did you fuck up the story, but that you said, we're going to take the OG and we're going to milk this shit. We're going to milk this shit for 3 video games. This is one of the biggest, like, dropping of the ball from any company ever. Square Enix dropped the ball on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. They dropped the ball. It didn't have to be this way. But they're the reasons why that it is the way that it is. Because they want to listen to their fucking consultants where they're like, hey, you need to subvert expectations. Nobody wants the same old, tired, boring story. Brother. Oh my God, I hate these people. I hate these people. Anyway. So that's basically it, man. That's all I really got to say about it. Again, no hatred towards Maximilian. Don't fucking care like that. I'm just disagreeing with the statements that are being made in this initial post and in this video as well. I think that's basically it. Oh, damn, they're calling him out. If that were the case, the game wouldn't have underperformed. Why did Final Fantasy VII Remake 7 million sales within a year reduce to 2 million for Rebirth? Because it's part 2 of a connected story that released exclusively on a system that was a few years into its life compared to the entry point that released when there was 100 plus million install base already. What are you talking about, brother? What are you talking? Oh my god, bro. What are you talking about? I'm so sick of this excuse about install base. I really am so sick of it. These people all the time use install base as an excuse for why the sequels are not doing as well. I'm so fucking sick of it, bro. Especially when PlayStation 5 is at like 90 million units now. It's at 90 million fucking units now. Or 85 million, something like that. So at what point do we stop using install base as a fucking excuse? If the game was good and people actually wanted it, they would have chose that game over whatever else they chose. This whole nonsense about install base gets ignored when it's video games that people actually want to buy. Do you think that Grand Theft Auto 6 is not going to sell as much as Grand Theft Auto 5 because of the install base? Do you think that's going to happen? Or do you think that the install base argument is going to be thrown out the water when people are out there buying Grand Theft Auto 6 in droves? What's gonna happen there? You know? I'm so sick of it, bro. People always bring this shit up and they think it's like this massive fucking own. It's insane. Anyway, so that's basically it, boys. Interesting topic about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. And the topic, I'll say this, the topic's gonna come back to life when Final Fantasy VII Revelation comes out. When that comes out, people are gonna treat it like this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my god. This is peak. It's peak. It's so peak. The story's so peak. It's so amazing. Zach's alive, guys. Oh my god, Zach's alive. They did it. Zach's alive. Aerith's alive. It's one big happy family. Aerith is getting fucked by Zach now instead of Cloud, and people are happy about it now. Oh my god. Tifa could get railed by Barrett now. Yay. It's like, shut the fuck up, bro.